a biblical definition of art making. Actually, I submit, as we look at particularly at imaginative expression in the Hebrew Scriptures, the Old Testament, we see that basically art making is the imaginative rearrangement of human metaphors, symbols, and signal systems or expressions. And that goes beyond verbal. Actually, there are 12 of them according to cultural anthropologists: verbal, numeric, written, body language, two-dimensional objects, three-dimensional objects, all the way down to taste and smell. And all of these dynamics, artistically gifted people can take these metaphors and symbols and expressions and imaginatively rearrange them into various environments into which people can step, whether that is small as a song or a story. In fact, storytelling is the oldest artistic expression in human history that we can tell, along with their visual art and expression. But artistic people have an unusual capacity to do these kinds of things, including developing liturgy, ritual, pageant, these celebrations, including food and the socialization of these kinds of human expression. So really, when you look at human community and how humans interact, they don't interact in simply a cognitive and rational dynamic. That is true, but they operate in a much more socialized, holistic reality. Sometimes we in church leadership forget that. And therefore we focus in, rightly so, on the Word of God. Faith comes by hearing, and the hearing Word of God, but we're pretty sometimes wooden-headed on if we just speak out the truth, that people will catch it. That's not so. It doesn't exactly work that way. That's why Jesus operated within the context of relational environments, and he was the most creative, artistic interactor of all in all of human history. So these artists or artistically gifted people, whom I like to call imaginative expression specialists, which gets us away from being professional. You can have these capacities in a larger way and still not be making your living by it. And actually, they are the kinds of people that work well in missions, because they're not quite at the ultimate level, who are really the only guys who can make a living at this thing. But they're people like myself, who are maybe 8 or 6 on a 10-point scale, but have these kinds of capacities and sensitivities. And so these are the people that are creating the environments that people can move to. We see today a lot of options in experiments of ministry using coffee houses and artwork. Here we're recording this in an art gallery on Samford University campus, because Samford is actually wonderfully wrestling with the reality that people need relationship and sort of immersive environment in order to come in contact with God. And so there you are. And artistically gifted people are just that. They have unusual capacity in these areas, and therefore we need to pull them in.